the headlines tonight, the possibility of a gasoline crisis in North Carolina are closer tonight, and officials say self-service stations will be the first hit hard.
A night-long ordeal is over tonight for one Raleigh family, but the fight may just be beginning in Henderson over a dispute involving Vance County's only hospital. I'm Bobbie Battista.
And I'm Charlie Gaddy. Those stories and more next on Action News 5.
Fantastic shoe sale. Endicott Johnson and Father and Son. $14.90 a pair, 2 pairs, $25. Great styles, great price. Hurry, sale ends soon.
Wrestling fans, a spectacular card at the Dorton Arena in Raleigh, Tuesday, May the 22nd, featuring Lynn Denton, Brute Bernard, Nick DiCarlo, Jim Brunzell, Pedro Morales, and Jay Youngblood team up to take on Rudy Kay and Swede Hansen. Two big main events on the card. Ken Patera goes up against Rufus R. Freight Train Jones, the king of wrestling. Then the U.S. title is on the line. Ric Flair puts his belt up against the Hawaiian Punch, Ricky Steamboat. That's at the Dorton Arena in Raleigh, Tuesday, May 22nd. Don't miss these matches.
The one and only 5.
Charlie Gaddy, Bobbie Battista, Rich Brenner, and Bob DeBardelaben. News people bring you Action News 5.
Good evening. There are more gasoline problems tonight, this time in North Carolina, and Fred Taylor reports the Triangle area may be hardest hit this Memorial Day weekend.
We'd rather have a little bit of gas each day than to be out entirely. So we're going to have to modify our hours.
John Adams, president of the ABC Petroleum Phillips 66 dealership in Raleigh, is pessimistic about making it through the Memorial holiday weekend without running out of gasoline for his service stations. What looked like an easy weekend with plenty of supplies for everybody turned into a nightmare when the 36-inch Colonial Pipeline broke in South Carolina last weekend. The pipeline serves Triangle Petroleum companies through the Selma terminal.
That means that whatever different service stations have in storage and whatever different suppliers have in storage in Selma is going to have to last us till Wednesday, and it probably won't if we allow normal kinds of withdrawals at the stations.
You're saying there's a possibility we could exhaust some of our supplies before Wednesday?
We will. We have. There's some that are already out of different products, some stations here.
A spokesman for Colonial Pipeline has told Action News 5 the break has been repaired and service restored. But until supplies return to normal, some service stations may have to close early or use other conservation measures. Adams suggests the motorists can play an important role in avoiding those long lines at the gasoline pumps.
But if people would not keep their tanks full all the time, if they would try to buy gas at unusual times rather than rush times, yes, I think we could avoid the line.
Before the pipeline break, the State Energy Office and Carolina Motor Club had predicted gasoline would be no problem during the Memorial holiday weekend. But now some stations will feel lucky if they make it through this weekend. This is Fred Taylor, Action News 5.
The state's energy director says he wants to clear up a lot of misinformation about the gasoline shortage, and Brian Flatterly has called a news conference for tomorrow on the subject. Flattery is blaming overreaction by the public for creating the gasoline crisis in California, and he apparently wants to limit similar reaction here in the Tar Heel State.
Despite those assurances, the Carolina Motor Club says the number of self-service gas stations will drop considerably as the gas shortage gets worse. Officials say when the supply gets tight, the self-service pumps will close. And the club predicts prices for unleaded gasoline will reach 92 cents a gallon when gasoline prices are deregulated next month. But despite talk of a summer gasoline shortage, more people than ever are planning to visit North Carolina's mountains and coastal resorts. That according to the state's top tourism official. Bill Arnold says bookings are very heavy and are being made far in advance. And Arnold says many gas stations in resort areas plan to stay open over the Memorial Day weekend to handle the influx of visitors.
Bobby, Governor Hunt is asking state employees to plan on cutting down gasoline consumption. The governor wants a 5% cut in gas consumption in state vehicles immediately and 15% later. In his news conference today, Hunt said he would not impose rationing until there's a serious gasoline problem in the state, and he says there is not a problem now.
With regard to to allocation of the various states will do. As coming up to a more recent period has apparently helped California, maybe it'll help us some. I haven't had a chance to talk to our people about that. But the best thing to do is not panic. Don't try to top the tank. Be cool and go on as normal, and if we do that, maybe we'll escape a problem.
The governor says an odd-even rationing plan already prepared could be imposed in a day or two if necessary. At least one company isn't taking any chances, though. Piedmont Natural Gas Company says it's converting its entire fleet of company trucks and automobiles to run on liquid propane gas. And there's another idea for saving gas tonight. A bill has been introduced in the legislature to prohibit high school students from driving to school. Students in vocational and educational programs and students with medical appointments would be excluded from this, but others would have to find other ways to school.
The State Bureau of Investigation has been called in on an internal investigation of the Durham Police Department, and Layla Tevet reports there have been allegations leveled against, quote, a few men on the force.
Action News 5 has learned that the district attorney called for the investigation after some police officials brought him information. Attorney Dan Edwards would not say what that information is about, but he did say there was enough to persuade the SBI to join the investigation about a week ago.
I can't specifically comment on what the investigation covers. However, I will say that this investigation is aimed at allegations which have been leveled against specific officers for specific acts of misconduct. This investigation is not a shakedown investigation of the organization of the police department. It's a
The Durham Police Chief and the Public Service Director both refused to comment on the investigation. The district attorney says he hopes to have some results within the month. He emphasized that this is not a witch hunt against the police department. In Durham, I'm Layla Tevet, Action News 5.
Police in Goldsboro have drawn a blank so far in their search for a man who shot a police officer during a robbery. Officer Clark Bennett was shot in the leg. He is in satisfactory condition today at a local hospital.
Raleigh police are investigating at this hour the possible rape of a 4-year-old girl. There have been no arrests so far, but police tell Action News 5 rape is being suspected in an incident off Pool Road in East Raleigh. Witnesses say the youth was playing with her sister when she was led off into a wooded area by a man, and police are scouring the area at this hour for the suspect. We'll have an update on that incident tonight at 11 o'clock. The ordeal is over tonight for 2 young Raleigh children and their parents. The brother and sister were found safe and sound this morning, and Aviva Diamond has the story.
It was a long night for the Jordan family. Alzonia Jordan says his children were wandering in the woods near their home on South Dixie Trail in Raleigh when it started to get dark. Just after 6:30 last night, the children's mother told police that 9-year-old John and 4-year-old Kenya were missing. A massive hunt for the children began and lasted past daybreak. Officers searched the ground while a helicopter scanned the area from above, and still no sign of the children.
Thick woods made the search more difficult, but finally at about 10:30, an officer spotted the tops of 2 little heads poking out of the tall grass.
What were the first words that your kids said to you when they saw you?
Daddy. And that was it. That was all they could holler was Daddy. That was it. And all I could do is respond to my babies, because that's what they are.
Aviva Diamond, Action News 5.
Still to come, we'll have that update on the controversy surrounding the Maria Parham Hospital in Henderson.
And it looks like the National Weather Service has finally found a new home. Those stories and more coming up.
The performer, the performer, it's tough and looks so nice.
The Performer, Kmart's premium latex house paint, is now on sale. Check the label. It's tough as nails. Comes in over 50 beautiful colors. Save $4 per gallon. The Performer is on sale now, just $9.44.
Kmart's durable latex house paint, a premium paint at a Kmart price.
How you feeling tonight, people? Feeling like me? Got a headache and upset stomach? Well, here's the most beautiful sound of the evening. Listen to the sound of fast relief. Alka-Seltzer. It instantly begins to break up acid indigestion and speeds relief to your aching head.
That sounds fast.
That sounds fast.
That sounds fast.
You feeling better, people? So what do you say? Oh, what a relief it is. Fast, fast, fast.
CARR Toyota in Fayetteville will sell 500 factory-fresh Toyota cars and trucks by May 31st. Why? Because we've been selling and servicing Toyota since 1967. We have over $250,000 in parts inventory alone for your convenience. And you'll get the best price at CARR Toyota. Even if your present car isn't paid for, just bring your good credit. The world's best-selling economy car and truck can be yours at tremendous savings during the CARR Toyota 500 sale, happening now in Fayetteville, open midnights.
Leaders of the black community in Henderson say they expect the U.S. Department of Health, Education, and Welfare to order a cut-off of all federal funds to the only hospital in Vance County. HEW's Office of Civil Rights is expected to rule any day now on a complaint alleging insufficient minority representation on the Mariah Parham Hospital Board of Trustees. Roving reporter Will Davis has the latest on that dispute.
Henderson's Mariah Parham Hospital is the only major medical facility between Raleigh-Durham and the Virginia border. It is a private, non-profit hospital with a 21-member board of trustees. That board includes 3 blacks, 2 women, and 2 handicapped persons. But a coalition of minority organizations in Henderson says that isn't enough. Vance County is 40% black, and a large number of county residents have incomes below the federal poverty level. So the coalition says the hospital's refusal to admit more blacks, women, and poor people to the board is a violation of the 1964 Civil Rights Act.
We need to have our own representatives there to give firsthand the background realities of being black, being poor, the medical needs of the black and poor, and to participate in the planning process.
Until 1966, when the facility seen here was built, Mariah Parham Hospital was almost exclusively white. The legal discrimination has ended now, but blacks say the legacy lingers on in the way minorities are treated. One night, a neighbor collapsed on Clara McMillan's front porch.
Once I got him to the hospital, he was refused admittance there. The doctor would not even see him, and they informed me that the only thing they could tell me was to take him to Duke or Chapel Hill. So I called an ambulance, and the ambulance took him to Duke Hospital, which is about 50 miles away.
Hospital administrators will not comment on the complaint filed with HEW, but an attorney for the Board of Trustees says he does not believe there have been any violations of the law.
The hospital's position is that we are in compliance with all the rules of HEW. But as far as the selection of the trustees are concerned, merely because of the fact that they have approved the revision of the charter which sets forth the method in which the trustees are selected.
Mariah Parham receives about $1 million a year in federal Medicare and Medicaid payments. If those funds were cut off, some hospital officials say it would only hurt the very people the coalition is trying to help. Jody Smith disagrees.
We're not troublemakers. We're simply trying to make Mariah Parham the best hospital, the most responsive hospital, the community's hospital, responding to everybody's needs.
If HEW rules against them, Smith says the coalition will consider going to court. The problem is deeply rooted in the county's past, he says, and blacks here intend to keep up the pressure until they get what they want. In Henderson, Will Davis, Action News 5.
There are more problems in Henderson tonight. A power failure has closed the #1 plant of Harriet and Henderson Yarns in Henderson. Company officials say the plant will be closed until tomorrow at 3 p.m. Workers affected are asked not to report to work. Again, that's only the Harriet #1 plant that's affected.
It's not a power failure that has other consumers upset, but a new law that allows utilities to charge customers for the cost of new plants while they are still under construction. Power company executives say they need the pass-along allowance to avoid electricity shortages and to keep rates low. Both sides testified today before the House Public Utilities Commission. Wake County's budget for the coming year is currently being drawn up, and residents will find out in about a month what a new tax rate will be. But even before that, some changes are underway in the way property values are assessed in the county, and in the first of 2 reports, Mike Toscano tells us what it means to the taxpayer.
State law requires a county revaluation of real estate at least every 8 years, and Wake County is due for another assessment in 1982. Tax bills for this year are now being drawn up, and all that's needed is word from the county commissioners on what the new tax rate will be. Property is still valued at 1976 figures, however. That's when the last revaluation occurred, meaning most homes are listed at values far below the current market rate. County Tax Supervisor Lonnie Bost is instituting changes now that will result in more frequent revaluations.
I feel that 8 years is quite a long time. That time period of 8 years. Values do change considerably over that period of time. And probably every 4 years might be a better cycle.
The thought immediately arises that this will mean higher taxes, a thought Bost dismisses by saying the intent is only to establish more uniform assessments countywide. To make the revaluation procedure more efficient, consultants from New Jersey have been brought in to computerize the system. A 2-year project to make the conversion has just started.
Computers have already made their appearance here at the tax office, and when the changeover is complete, in a couple of years, the folks here will be able to punch up the computer and actually get a diagram of any building in Wake County.
With this kind of information available so quickly, it's expected that future assessments will be made entirely by computer, and revaluations can be done at 4 or even 2-year intervals. The price tag for the changeover is $1.7 million.
With the changes coming in the way the county assesses your property tax, the question then arises, is it fair? And that's a question we'll look at in our next report. Mike Toscano, Action News 5.
The National Weather Service at the Raleigh-Durham Airport has apparently found a home. You'll remember the Weather Service has been ordered to move from this location at the airport, and Weather Service officials weren't certain where they were going to go. Now, the Weather Service and the airport officials believe they've found a site. There's been a tentative agreement to move the service several hundred feet south of its current site. Now, since they're moving south, does it mean the temperature readings out there will be higher?
No, but I'll tell you this, I know John McLean, meteorologist in charge, and his staff are sure glad they found something because it was a little shaky there for a while. I found something today that you won't believe in Smithfield, and I'll tell you about that, Charlie, and the weather right after we take time out for this.
Join the Royal Revolution. That's right. Come on down to Royal Dodge this weekend. Are you mad at Congress? Are you mad at the oil companies? Mad at the president? Or just plain mad? We'll let you pound on this car with a sledgehammer at Royal Dodge in Fayetteville. We're having a big sale. We're even going to give cash prizes for the ugliest cars traded in. Refreshments and entertainment. Royal Dodge, 1045 Bragg Boulevard in Fayetteville. Open every night till 10:45.
We're starting up the Toro. Easy does it. The Southern Toro. From power to slice tough southern grass to bearings and filters that fight sand and grit. This good old name's been specially engineered for a long working life in the South. Shine every time America mows the lawn. Haven't you done without a Toro long enough?
See House and Lawn Garden Raleigh or Eastern Turf Fayetteville.
If you grow tobacco, here's something to think about. Sucker control chemicals help us market some of the finest tobacco in the world, but we all have to do our part. A responsible manufacturer spends millions of dollars to produce effective products. Your part is to follow good cultural practices and use all products only as directed. So for bigger and better tobacco crops, top early, apply contact, and then follow through with a proven systemic.
A grower service message from UNIROYAL Chemical, manufacturers of Royal Tech and Royal MH30.
Now, here, hospitality means welcome, one and all. Everyone's invited and everyone has fun. That's our tradition. And we keep that good feeling going all day. And one way to do it is with WD brand Easy Car rib roast from Winn-Dixie. No matter how you work up an appetite, this tender U.S. choice rib roast is what real hospitality is all about. It's from the beef people, and it's the best way we know to say welcome one and all. The beef people, a great tradition, Winn-Dixie.
Well, it was truly Bob DeBardelaben Day at South Smithfield Elementary. I spoke to a couple of hundred students and then visited the other students in their classrooms and met the school teachers and the cafeteria workers and the office staff and just had a ball. And I want to thank everyone for their fine hospitality. It was a great day to go visiting anywhere. Our high around here today got up to 72 degrees. Morning's low is 49. We have very dry air, humidity 38%. Pressure is high, but it's falling slightly, 30-26. Our winds are out of the north at 9. CARR at 303. 6.6. There is an upper-level trough disturbance off the coast of North Carolina that could give the coastal forecast a little cloudy cover by the weekend. We certainly hope not, but we'll watch it again tomorrow. You notice how representative our temperature is fairly uniform around our state, mainly in the 70s with the exception of the cool 65 out at Hatteras. Satellite photos show just almost beautiful clear skies over North Carolina with the exception of that cloud cover off the coast now, and that's due to that upper-level low-pressure disturbance. Now, the high is up in New York. It's just going to drift down into Virginia. Scattered frost this morning, very heavy in West Virginia. Here's a cold front and a couple of low-pressure areas causing some scattered showers from the Texas Panhandle up to the northern plains. No serious weather anywhere, but behind the front, temperatures in the northern Rockies are fairly cool. Let's get back home and look at our forecast for the Triangle area. Clear and cool tonight, the low about 50 degrees. Northeasterly winds around 10, and chances of rain are very slim tonight. Mostly sunny tomorrow, a little warmer, high about 75. Northeasterly winds tomorrow, which will pop up on your screen, 10 to 15, and no chance of any rain. And through the first part of the weekend, just looking great, except we're talking about the cloud cover and the winds along the coast, but we'll check it more tomorrow. Tuesday, we may have a chance of some scattered showers and thunder showers. The immediate coastal forecast calls for small craft advisory in effect for northeasterly winds 15 to 25, waves 3 to 5 feet, fair weather along the coast, and fair weather down at Myrtle Beach. Well, Charlie, next weekend of 26th and 27th is the Duke Children's Golf Classic. And there I am playing, and I looked up, and I missed the ball, according to Brian Lamb, who lives in Bailey, and I said, gosh, I bet.
Brian, there's only one thing wrong with that. No. Bobby, if they can fit a chestnut-colored mare into the elevator of the Person County Courthouse, Judge Larry Center expects to see the horse on the second-floor hearing room. The district judge issued a subpoena for the horse today. The judge is trying to decide a case of horse stealing and says he needs to inspect the mare in his courtroom to reach a verdict. A man charged with stealing the horse and his accuser both say they own the horse. Now, most of the horses I've ever talked with don't favor elevators. I can tell them that right now.
That's true. They may have some problems.
What would Mr. Ed say?
Mr. Ed, he died this year, did he not? Yeah. Speaking of rare things, you had one today to report on.
Yes.
Rare and unusual.
A triple play. But we've got today's results for you for the North and South Amateur and Pinehurst. Plus, as Bobby alluded to, a look at one of baseball's rarest plays, a triple play. All that and more right after this.
During Brendle's spectacular gift sale, you'll find bargains like these. This Texas Instruments LCD billfold calculator for only $12.96. Or this desk printer display calculator by Texas Instruments for just $69.90. Choose a man's or woman's yellow gold LCD 6-function watch. It has tritium backing so it glows in the dark. Your choice, just $34.90 each. Brendle's, it's the store where you get more than you bargained for, especially now during Brendle's gift sale.
When you discover that a big bug problem has turned your kitchen into a shooting gallery, give it your best shot. Hot Shot. It's the fast, easy way to kill roaches, ants, and most creepy, crawly bugs. So the next time you aim to kill some bugs, give it your best shot. Hot Shot.
Nobody can do it like McDonald's can. Nobody else in this whole land. Nobody can do it like McDonald's can. Everybody always do it. Nobody can do it like McDonald's can. Nobody!
Toyota has challenged us to sell 55,000 new cars and trucks.
And we want to make this the biggest Toyota sales event ever.
So we're forgetting the stickers during the great once-a-year Toyota Sales Challenge. We know you want to save money, so we're dealing now on clean-running total economy Toyotas. Prices may never be lower.
If you can find a better deal on a great small car, make it!
We bet you can't, so don't wait. See your Toyota dealer during the great once-a-year Toyota Sales Challenge. Open late this week.
When today's quarterfinal round activity at the North and South Amateur Golf Tournament at Pinehurst began, Raleigh Scott Hoke, last year's runner-up in the U.S. Amateur, was the only seeded player remaining. Well, Scott Hoke won today, as did a fellow by the name of Peter Teravanian. And in the other two matches, though, we had a very interesting case of area golfers playing cutthroat with each other. John Magoo of North Carolina, the University of North Carolina, down Raleigh's Tom Reynolds, while a couple of other Tar Heel golfers had to square off against each other. Bill Butner defeated teammate Frank Fuhrer. Tomorrow, the semifinal round of this match play tournament will be held with the two winners meeting in a 36-hole playoff on Saturday. Well, one of the most rare yet most exciting plays in baseball is the triple play. There have been two so far this season, with the second coming in last night's California Angels-Milwaukee Brewers game, and this is what it looked like in the second inning. Jim Slayton on the mound for the Brewers. He's going to put the ball in there at the plate. Ground ball down to Salbando at third. 1, 2, around the horn 3, 5, 4, 3. Triple play right there. But now we go into the 11th inning as this game wore on, and it was a case of the Angels winning it. Here's Rod Carew laying down a bunt. Bando, the hero in the triple play, throws it away into the outfield, and Dan Ford, as we're going to see, goes lickety-split around the bases, and he scores the winning run of the game. And while the Angels survived their triple play fate, well, the bird got struck by lightning, and you might say it was a case of Louisiana lightning. That at Yankee Stadium, Ron Guidry taking on Mark the Bird Fidrich, and old Mark the Bird had his problems. Here's a two-run homer by Greg Nettles in the first inning. That gets the Bird off to a bad start. Now here we are coming up in the fourth inning. Greg Nettles saying goodbye into the stands for his second homer, and in the fourth inning, Mark the Bird Fidrich also was taken out of the game as Chris Chambliss hit a home run right there. And it was a case of the Yanks winning that ball game behind this guy right there, number 49, Ron Guidry. 13 strikeouts last night as Guidry won his fourth ball game of the year. Well, just an update on Kyle Petty, who crashed yesterday for the second day in a row while preparing for his Grand National debut at the World 600 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. After a painful night, Petty had his left leg put in a temporary cast due to a very badly bruised knee. Then there's the case of Neil Bonnet, who it now looks like will be running in the World 600 instead of the Indianapolis 500 on May 27th. Well, this Saturday is that world-class light invitational track meet at Duke's Wallace Wade Stadium. One of the participants is going to be hurdler Charles Foster of Durham, and Tom Suter will have a look at that.
Former North Carolina Central University star Charles Foster just missed a medal in the 1976 Olympics in Montreal, finishing fourth in his specialty, the 110-meter high hurdles. Foster, who has a personal best time of 13.2 seconds, is aiming for a shot at the 80 games and believes that his mental approach to hurdling has made him a much improved athlete.
I tend to think about the races a lot more, which means that when I'm practicing and I'm thinking about what I'm doing in the meet, things become automatic then.
Charles, you know, since you're out of school now, you got to kind of motivate yourself, work out on your own, do it yourself. Are you finding this hard to do?
Well, sometimes, but with the facilities that this area has, I guess that's the reason why I'm still in this area. Duke, Carolina, North Carolina State, North Carolina Central. You know, it's not too hard to get out and practice because, you know, the facilities are here and all you have to do is get out and do it.
That is going to be some track meet on Saturday.
Okay, Rich, thank you.
Still to come, Talk of the Town visits the Harnett County town of Dunn. Coming up after this.
You can depend on Kroger for the best of everything. At low prices you can rely on every day.
Domino sugar in the 5-pound bag is just 89 cents. Another cost cutter, the single roll of Viva paper towels, is 59 cents. And 8-ounce packages of Morton frozen pot pies are 4 for $1 at Kroger.
Remember, you can depend on Kroger for the best of everything.
Seiko introduces the world's first memory bank calendar watch. It shows the time, day, and date, can display any full month within an 80-year period, and even be pre-programmed to remind you of important dates in both the time mode and in the calendar mode. The Memory Bank watch is only one of an incredibly sophisticated new digital quartz collection from Seiko. They're absolutely unforgettable.
Seiko watches available at Belt-Leggett Company, South Square Mall, Durham.
Toyota challenges you to save money this week. It's the great once-a-year Toyota sales challenge. If you can find a better deal on a great small car, make it. But see your Toyota dealer first.
Your Toyota dealers here in the Southeast normally sell 20% of all the Toyotas in America. But in May, we are planning to sell an unprecedented 50%. The only way is with the biggest triple savings in our history on the world's best-selling economy car, Toyota. As we're in the final days of this record-breaking sale, don't wait another day to save 3 ways on a gas-saving Toyota.
If we are to believe our president and his economic experts, the day is fast approaching when all of us will be faced with a shortage of gasoline. Whether it's fact or fiction, real or contrived, Californians presently are experiencing gas rationing with all of its attending problems and inconvenience. And there are ominous predictions that by the Memorial Day weekend, the whole country will be affected. Now, for most of us, the automobile is a necessity. For some, it is a status symbol, a sign of affluence, and to a degree, our sanctuary away from home, but always a necessity. Automobiles afford us privacy, independence, and complete control over where and when we go and come. It's easy to see the reluctance we have in giving them up or curtailing their use. North Carolinians may be able to ward off this encroachment upon our mobile domains by exercising some personal restraint. If the gas shortage is real, we may be able to avoid rationing and other government regulations. If the shortage is imaginary, we may be able to slow the rate of inflation by not creating a shortage through frantic buying. It's a time to use good sense. Don't panic. Drive carefully and economically. Use public transportation and carpool wherever possible, and ask yourself, is this trip necessary? If so, plan your driving with conservation in mind. If we don't have a gas shortage, let's not make one. If we do have a gas shortage, let's not make it worse.
Well, Charlie Gaddy's Talk of the Town visited Dunn recently, and people there, like Americans everywhere, are concerned about high prices and how inflation is changing their lives.
Well, it's made a lot of change because I've quit eating steak, eating chicken now.
The way we do things at home, well, we're trying to be more conservative. Try not to make quite so many trips to the grocery store.
Of course, you know the old saying about it'll be like this for a while and it'll get worse. I'm firmly convinced that's what's going to happen.
I tell you what, it's no one but just me. And I don't see where it's doing me too much of harm.
The only problem that Sammy and I have really is with the gas. I don't nearly get to go as many places as I used to, you know. As a matter of fact, he's cut me down to 1 tank a week.
Well, the only thing that I have thought about it is that I have a son going to East Carolina this fall. And I told him he couldn't take his car.
Looking for more bargains, if I can find them, which is an impossibility right now.
It looks like to me it's just getting out of hand. I really do think so. Well, it's getting too high priced, and the average working man can't stand it.
By the time Uncle Sam gets through with it and retirement and all, you only get about half of what your gross is.
It cramps your style a little bit, but you have to adjust to it, you know. But I guess we'll make it.
If the world's going to continue like it has been, it's going to really be a bad situation for my little girl once she gets up to go to college and stuff, you know.
We buy cheaper cuts of meats and things like that and make it go as far as we can.
Eat 2 meals a day.
Yeah, go down to 2 meals a day.
And how are things going?
Not as good as they were. You devil.
What'd she call me? I didn't hear that.
Pretty accurate. Tonight at 11, the school board meets again this evening on the question of busing, and we'll have that for you at 11 o'clock.
ABC News is next. I'm Charlie Gaddy. For all of us, thank you for watching, and good night.